I am one of those things.
Just because she lived in a big house doesn't mean she was rich. She didn't get any money. She had to survive.
And then we cut back to
She
a
had to
flashback
survive
with
in the
Kenjiro in it.
cushy mansion.
She had to survive. Her bodyguard,
In the cushy mansion with
who
her
protects
bodyguard taking care of everything for her.
leaving out some like rabbit stew or something for her.
It was so hard, guys. It was so difficult.
I'm a real
Meanwhile,
survivor.
cuts to a flashback of me buried under a sea of corpses swimming to the top.
I was actually literally covered in a sea of corpses at
So
one point.
yeah, Iris just walks away and is going to go and see what Jeremy has found.
Got pampered rich boys and cuts back to literally berserk. As both of the Klein siblings just swimming through hell.
Right, as you follow Jeremy, he seems to have stumbled upon a small bush that has a few more berries, and he's starting to nibble at them. There's also a few that, since he's at this point he's starting to get pretty full, you can actually grab a few for yourself. Iris, roll me perception. Iris, as you are picking up the small berries from the bush, something catches your eye behind it. There seems to be something there, and as you walk around the tree to check it, you see that a few leaves have been left on the ground, and on top of them, there's a small assortment of wild vegetables and mushrooms. Also, off in the distance, you see in a patch of mud that there was a footprint left behind.
Does it look weighted or like actual
It looks
feet?
humanoid.
Does it look foot-like or boot-like? Like, is it toes?
Boot-like.
I'm gonna make sure to point this out to Lucretia. Look.
But yes, there's a nice assortment of wild veggies, there's some mushrooms, and from what you can tell, these would probably taste very good in a stew.
Yes, I'm gonna start collecting them. It's like, I still haven't found any pre-cooked food yet. That's weird.
There's no pre-cooked food in the forest.
That's
You
a
wanna know
lie.
the hilarious...
We'll just put the remains in Lucretia's skirt.
I immediately turned
By
red
the way,
and
the
it's just like,
leaves
what are you
that the
suggesting?
stuff was left on seems to have a very nice minty smell to it as well.
You see, the thing is, the reason Lucretia just turned red is if she uses her shirt, she's basically flashing everyone her panties.
Okay, what about your skirt? It's like, look, my robes are in tatters. What am I meant to use?
She just kind of blushes a bit and uses her skirt enough to still kind of hide her panties.
I grab basically one end. It's like, there, I'll hold it low. Just scoop them in.
She's bright red.
Oh no, we're on a deserted island with my closest companions right now. Oh,
It's like, look, who's gonna...
blushy.
Why are you blushing? It's only girls on this island.
Shut up! Awkwardly nodding.
By the way, Jeremy is back on your shoulder, Iris, but this time it was very difficult for him to reach there because his belly is very plump right now. He is full of food, and you see that he has his beak open. He's breathing heavily. Like, too much.
Don't
very
feed
greedy,
him
Brad.
anymore, he'll
Like,
get
mistakes were
fat.
made, send help. Not very good at eating food.
It's like, Jeremy, you're a very greedy bird, aren't
Is he
you?
blue and purple?
See, the best part about this, now we can butcher the bird for more food.
No, leave him alone.
Yes, songbird's a delicacy.
Jeremy
But
is
yeah,
not food.
We're just
Don't
fatting him up
feed him
till he's,
anymore, he'll get
well fed.
fat.
Okay, I will.
And if he gets fat, Alicia's going to break his neck for food.
True. Beautiful. So we're gonna head back with all of our gains.
Are you rolling for the bird, Adam?
Yeah, I just thought I'd actually do it.
It seems to be it seems to be similar to the bird that's very predominant in Schellen's text. It's basically one of the more exotic and beautiful species out in the world and very rare, and that's why it's associated with Schellen, because when you speak of beauty and perfection, you speak of Schellen, and this bird, by all accounts, with its beautiful rainbow-like tail, is very delicate and very beautiful, as it burps very loudly and starts shouting back and forth because it's stuffed.
So Nero, I recognise what kind of bird
Nero.
this is, right? Does that mean I have any indication of where we are then? Can I narrow it down?
Well, you kind of get an idea already because if you remember, before you went into that underground, well, it's easier to call it a tomb rather than anything else now that you know that it's, well, devoid of life.
It's more
off
that
in
we've
the distance,
been
you saw
passed
an
out,
island
I
that
don't
seems
know.
to be deserted, and it was surrounded by some choppy waters and what of high rocks. You seem to have ended up there.
Yeah, it's
So
more
you're
like
a little bit off
as I'm
course,
aware.
let's just say that, in the middle of nowhere.
anywhere, you know, passed out for days on the float, but fair enough. Okay. Right. I can deal with that.
Well, there is something else that, considering the row is that good, I can tell you, like, the islands where these birds originate from are, for all intents and purposes, as far as the Ovian Empire knows, are completely deserted. Because they wanted to preserve the beauty and the natural environment of these birds. At least that's what the texts say.
So the best we'll find is maybe isolated Galen. Lucky.
Sorry, dude, you're breaking up. I can't fucking hear you. Did you say something?
I said, so the best we can expect to find is an isolated Temple of Shaylin, if we're lucky.
Yes, if you're lucky, you might stumble into something like that, actually.
Right, well, back to the stew,
Well,
breaking the
since
bones for marrow.
Iris took a good look around, as far as you can tell, at least on this side of the island, there are no temples. That would have, you know, stuck out in this jungle.
Also,
It'll be, if there is one, it will be somewhere of incredible natural beauty.
hey, Adam, I would like you to picture this image in your head. As you're breaking the bones from marrow, like Alyssia is flashing an appreciative smile while she's covered in blood.
I mean, I've seen that like 4 times now. I'm growing used to your blood-covered appreciative smiles.
No, Horatius, how are you getting used to that? How?
Pretty much.
By the way, Jeremy found these. She gestures towards the mushrooms and berries within Lucretia's skirt. Oh, we
And
also
at this
found-
point, for some reason, Horatius starts looking around, wondering if he's gonna see Kenshiro somewhere.
And also we discovered
Jesus
a
fucking
boot.
Christ.
Wait. One of ours?
Print.
No, it's a boot print. I mean, sorry. Seems like somebody else may have been there. So
Tell
I
if
don't
it was
think
old or...
even if it was, it would have been washed away in the rain before. There's no way it would have
Boot
survived.
print in what kind of material? In what? In soil? Sand?
Soil.
Mud.
Ah, yes.
So it'll be new. Okay.
Yes, considering it was raining last night, extremely recent.
Yeah.
Probably today.
That's good. If we find people, it might be easier to make our own way back. After dinner, do you think you remember the spot?
I could, sure.
Boot or
After dinner, lead us
footprint?
back there.
Boot.
So, with Alyssia going for water, by the time she returns, by the time you guys start cooking and preparing dinner and have a nice meal, it would probably be getting dark. Is there something else you wish to do before the day is over?
Like to choose to succeed on making dinner?
Okay, I mean, can somebody make a statistic? Come on, guys in YouTube comment section. How many times has choosing to succeed been used for food, and how much was it used for anything else?
I'm gonna guess 20 to 30%.
So, luckily this time around you're gonna have an easier night, so you will manage to recover from the exhaustion that you had on the first day. So you'll be back in tip-top condition. Even though, honestly, a hair, even though you managed to get a lot of extra stuff with it, it's not exactly a filling meal, so you should start worrying more about that stuff.
Well, let's see if we can find civilization.
By the way, Iris, as you wake up, you see a very obscene and degenerate scene. Jeremy is tits up next to you sleeping and mimicking you how you sleep. It's a very ugly sight.
It's okay, I've seen Rohanna do it many times.
Also,
Wait,
What, she
hey,
did?
Esper.
Hmm?
Alyssia was nice to Lucretia. Lucretia got to be the small spoon this night.
She's too passed out to give a shit.
I thought we were going to
Well,
fight
we're gonna get
civilization.
Iris and Lucretia to lead us to the... And we're gonna try and track Prince.
Yep,
So
gonna
Are
do
wherever
you
they ended up.
sure that you want me leading you anywhere?
I said you too.
Okay. I'm just following Iris. I'm afraid to make
Well.
rolls at this point.
I do so.
Do
And,
you want me to bless you, Amanda?
No.
On your
be it.
way to where you guys saw the footprint, you notice that the area has changed a little bit during the night. It seems that despite the weather clearing up, there still was some rain. So yeah, the bushes have swooshed left and right, and I'm making no jokes about particular pirates, which may or may not be here. Anyway.
Experta, landslides?
Yes.
Question mark?
Sorry, what?
Wait, is there an actual rain season in these parts of the world?
Well, considering the weather around here is pretty wacky, probably.
So, like, any landslides?
This is a tropical island, after all.
Yeah, but, like, that's why, like, are there any landslides? Or have there been any landslides in the, like, during the night or something?
Doesn't seem like it, at least not for now.
Oh, that's at least good-ish.
At least for now. Anyway, eventually you guys managed to end up where Iris saw the footprint, and as you can imagine, because of, well, the conditions, you can barely make out anything in the mud anymore. But there was definitely a footprint there.
We're more just like, if we can work out what direction it's pointed, that gives us somewhere to head towards.
You see that the footprint was vaguely in the direction of the river.
Right, well let's go along there and see if we can find something. Worst case scenario, we'll do some hunting along the way.
It's conceivable that they're traveling along the river, since it's a fairly easy landmark to follow.
Oh, also, Exposure, I brought the pot with us.
Okay, that can be used to clobber somebody, I guess. Also for cooking, yeah, sure.
Also for cooking.
So you guys are gonna start making your way towards the river. It's gonna take you a good half an hour to get there. Eventually, you see the place where Alyssia managed to get the water. As you look around, however, you see that off on a good 60 or 70 meters away from you guys on the edge of the river, there seems to be some kind of fairly large animal lying dead. It seems to be half human size, basically. That's how big it is.
Dead?
It seems to have some nice black fur.
Wait, back up. Dead?
Yep, it's dead. It's just lying there. It's not moving at all, so you can assume that it's dead.
Well, just to be on the safe side, Alyssia will stay behind Horatius for now.
I'm gonna go up, just two things. Like, it's recently dead. And what did it die of?
Considering how fresh it is, it's definitely recently dead. There's still some blood there, actually.
And is it evident what it died of?
You're gonna have to get closer to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up and examine it. My god,
You
obviously.
see that its back is fine, so it's probably something, it died from something to the front, because it's bleeding. But in order to turn it to see it, you're gonna, you know, have to flip it over. Which probably wouldn't be that difficult. The beast doesn't seem to be that heavy.
Plus, I've got god tier strength.
Like how
I'm
big
gonna
is it?
flip
Like a slightly bigger cat animal, basically?
I'd say half human size, basically.
Picturing like a small jaguar. Yeah, I'll roll it over.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, you're gonna roll it over to check out what happened to it, right?
Yeah.
As you roll it over to see what this animal died of, Horatius, you see that it was gutted with a knife from one end of the other. However, that's not important, because all you hear is a click as soon as you start turning the animal over.
Oh no.
Since you're the one in front, everybody else is gonna have time to react, except for you, Horatius. There's a large explosion right in your face. Make a dex save. Horatius.
I'm guessing a 9 fails.
Sorry, what?
So, I'm guessing a 9 fails, so I'm going to use Indomitable. Fail a save. You can re-roll it once a day.
Go ahead.
22.
The animal suddenly explodes in your face, Horatius. However, you deftly just dive into the water that's on the right of you, which turns out to be the right call, because shrapnel begins flying along with guts and gore everywhere. Luckily, you and the rest of the guys that were a ways behind you managed to avoid the worst of it. As you bob your head out of the water, all you see is a gory mess where that animal lied. And you hear a light buzzing sound coming from the treetops, almost mechanical-like. Second.
Who even does that?
I can think of one person.
Just a sec.
The only reason anyone would have to booby trap something is if they think they're being followed, and they weren't until 5 minutes ago.
Off in the distance, from somewhere, you hear a familiar voice. There you are. I finally find you, fuckers.
How are you here?
You hear that... oh shit, is that music too loud, by the way?
I can adjust it, it's fine.
It's fine.
Okay, because it's super fucking loud for me. Just a second, let me fix it for myself then, because I can barely fucking hear you guys because of it. Right. You feel the excitement in the woman's voice when she finally found you, but you also hear a lot of frustration. Sometimes the best thing to do is to simply walk away, but no! You had to come play heroes, didn't you? You couldn't just keep your noses out of matters that don't concern you. Well then, heroes, play the part and die like any other hero in history. I'll make sure to send you off with a bang. And as she says that, you hear a bunch of connected loud explosions around you. The tree lines around you begin to explode and trees begin falling left and right towards the river where you guys currently are. The trees are rather massive and they're threatening to squash you right now, by the way.
Everyone, move back towards the river.
Right, I'm gonna clear a path.
Towards the river. Alyssia dives into the river.
So you guys are gonna jump into the river, are you?
I don't know what the rest of them are doing.
If it means
I
probably to
guess
avoid
so.
getting squashed by the trees.
Make me a swim check because you guys
Athletics.
are gonna have to fight the river.
How do I fight a river to, you know, swim down river?
Oh, if you're swimming down river, then you can just let the current take you.
Because I'm assuming she's upriver from us.
You're assuming, we don't know. So are you gonna fight the river to stay where you are, or are you going to just let the current take you down?
We know where she is, right?
You don't know where she is. How would you know that?
I thought you said
Then
she
you
just
just
spoke
said
and
she-
showed herself.
You
Yeah.
heard her speak, you don't know where she is.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I just say get back to the river. So in other words, we're gonna have like a clear sign. We're not gonna jump in yet.
If you don't jump into the river, the trees are gonna like fall on you, so
Oh,
you know.
then we're gonna jump into the river and go downstream then. Simple as that.
Actually-
That's what's happening.
Up to you. You can try to avoid the trees, but you're gonna have to make me some rolls.
Can I offer an alternative? Can I strength save to barge them out of my goddamn way?
One of them, sure, but all of them, doubtful.
One will be enough.
Fuck was
Suddenly
that?
phone.
Yeah, one will be enough.
Sorry, it was
The
an
people here
alarm.
stand behind me.
Okay, Horatius, give it a try. Horatius immediately latches onto the first tree that comes tumbling down and stops it. His feet actually sink a good 5 or 6 centimeters into the wet sand beneath him, but he manages to stop it on his shoulder. A few trees are starting to fall down and are gonna crush him as well, however, so he's managed to buy you a few seconds. If you guys wanna roll to the side instead of entering the river.
Okay, we'll roll to the side then, I guess. I am anyway. If I can avoid them.
What about the others?
I'm
Go,
sticking
this
with
is gonna last
Iris.
forever.
I'm sticking with Iris because I literally cannot do anything.
Right, everybody
Right.
follows
As
me.
soon as everybody is safe, Horatius, you just toss the log to the side and roll just barely, avoiding getting squashed by the rest of the trees coming down.
And I'll pick up my Indiana Jones hat.
You immediately notice where she was speaking to you from, by the way. There seems to be a small metallic-like box on the ground, where the area was cleared from the trees. Her voice seems to be coming from there.
Well, because I don't into technology, I throw a rocket in. I think
You
it might
managed to
explode.
easily smash it.
Yeah, in my mind, it'll explode.
Luckily, it does not explode. However, you do manage to hear her voice now coming from a different direction. Seemingly, you can assume that it's a tactic that you have already seen. She's just having some kind of weird device project her voice. You're in my world now, bitches. Let's dance. And you
Alicia, we
start
have
hearing
to-
a lot more loud explosions around you. It seems like the terrain is very quickly getting shifted. And with that, the earth beneath you is starting to unsettle and become very well unreliable, as you're beginning to sink in mud-like substance.
I'll turn to the group and say, we're in her terrain right now. Alyssia, where would you be if you were her?
Expert, what's the terrain like around us?
Roll me perception real quick if you want to get an edge. Otherwise, the terrain around you is, apart from the riverbed and the jungle in front of you, off in the distance you can start seeing the cliff sides, since you've traveled a bit inward into the jungle.
How far off into the distance?
Probably a good half kilometer away.
Mm,
Not going to be near the speakers. She's wherever. Oh, basically, I just trust Alyssia to know where an ambush should be coming from.
Alyssia perks up. Well, it depends. Since she seems to be relying on traps, I would either be up on that cliff with a spyglass to follow our progression and see what we do, or alternatively, I would just be hiding somewhere in the underbrush.
Make the call.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna take up on the perception roll and see if I can figure something out.
Go for it. You seem to think that higher ground advantage is probably the wiser way to go about this. Since if she was hiding in the underbrush, there is a chance that she'll get caught in her own explosions. She doesn't seem like the... Well, she is reckless, but she's not retarded. She wouldn't blow up something right in her face, Yulon.
Probably the high ground, considering she might get caught in her own explosions if she was in the underbrush.
Okay, I'll
Unless,
do my
of
best
course,
to
she
pull
left
away
a clear
forwards.
path.
Let me know if you see anything. And then I'm going to start trudging through towards where Alyssia indicated.
You know it's like half a
it's-
kilometer away, right?
Yep.
Yep,
Well, we've
it's
got to get
pretty
there
far.
somehow, so use me as a shield. Horatius is going hard.
Horatius, make a nature check. I would say perception, but in this case, considering you're the one trudging forward, I'd call that a nature check. You fail to notice that some things are out of whack, and as you step forward, your foot sinks into a small ditch. You immediately get the sense that you're gonna, well, start tumbling forward. However, that's not the thing you should be worrying about. You were just, your balance was just upset. And from the sides, you see that there's some hollow trees. There's explosions inside them and shrapnel starts flying to pepper you. Everybody else is fine, but you're right in the thick of things. Make a dex save, but a disadvantage, because you are flat-footed right now. You don't have a nice grip on where you're standing. You get peppered from all sides by shrapnel and splinters from the tree. You take 24 damage. You also take 6 pride damage because you hit your nose as you were falling down.
Why you gotta hurt me like that? That's the real damage that hurts me.
Yep, I know.
Also, out of the cloud of shrapnel, Horatius, just you can see his head bob back up, seemingly mostly unscarred. I've not popped my temp HP yet, and then just shout out, "There's ditches!" But I'm nothing if not stubborn, Expertia, so I'm gonna keep going.
Okay then. Now, this time since you're again trudging forward, make a perception check.
So shout out to all these skills, I have 0s and 1s.
As you start stepping forward, you immediately notice that there's something odd on the ground. There's a lot of leaves. You make a note to step around them, however, 4 is not good enough, as you can imagine. You hear an explosion from beneath you this time, and there's a gaping hole underneath you. Make a dex save. Oh boy. Horatius, you begin falling down. This is a much bigger hole that was just blown open. On the bottom, you see sticking out spikes, and you fall right into the spike pit. The spikes seem to be made from very basic sticks that have been sharpened. However, due to gravity and all, it still hurts like a bitch. You take another 23 points of piercing damage. And you are stuck in the ditch with the spikes. Also, because of the spikes, I'm gonna say that this is probably the point where you start taking bleed damage. So you take an extra 6 bleeding damage.
By the way, we're all assuming that she has a gun, right? She says, looking at everybody.
Absolutely.
And can I help Horatius out of the thing?
You can, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna help him out. He's like, I would run across the trees in order to get her, but I'm afraid she may shoot me if I tried.
By the looks of it, you've still got a lot of jungle to cover, so you're gonna have to take your chances. Up to you guys.
But nothing for it. Have to keep pushing through. Please,
I'm assuming at this point,
the people behind
I'm
me.
assuming at this point Horatius is starting to look a little worse for wear because he kind of got, well, there's probably a few sticks sticking out of him at this point.
I'm down to 80 out of 91 hit points. And I'll turn to the people behind me as I snap out a stick from my thigh. Please warn me if you see anything.
Alyssia just like looks at him. Yes, I was about to suggest that you might want to look where you step.
Thank you. I trudge back forwards, eyes on the ground.
Reese is like, fuck shaking for traps, I'm just gonna man-meld this forest.
Fuck it. But if worst comes to worst, I'll just blade wall the forest. It'll all come out to attack me at once.
As you guys continue treading forward, avoiding some of the traps and explosions that go off around you, Iris, you remember what you saw yesterday. You're reaching one of the small clearings. You're gonna have to exit the jungle, and that's gonna make your progress a lot quicker for a while. For that means that you will be exposed, unless you take the long way around.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to mention that. It's like, we can't really go this way. We can.
Wouldn't
if
that be
we
what
want.
he was expecting?
You say clearing.
Yes.
Yep, it's a pretty small
Forget
clearing.
the clearing. Unless she's completely retarded, the clearing will be full of traps.
I was thinking the opposite.
Speaking of which, in the clearing, there's about knee-high grass. You see that there's something unnatural sticking out in the middle of the field.
Textbook fucking minefield.
As you guys start making your way the long way around, you see that the thing that was in the middle of the field suddenly popped its quote-unquote head up in a very unnatural way, and it starts giving off a very ear-piercing, high-pitched sound. Other than that, it doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Can assume that she knows we're taking a long way around. I suggest we switch routes again.
Fine by me.
As you guys are starting to switch up your tactics and going around, suddenly you start hearing loud gunshots off in the distance. Similar to what you experienced last time on the island, however, not as big in sound. That thing, as you remember, was basically an arm cannon that literally fires one shot and it's done. The shots seem to be much smaller and are having a hard time going through trees, but she seems to be peppering the tree line where you guys are currently making your way through. You can easily find some cover, but it's quite apparent that she knows exactly where you are.
By the way, I've been wondering something. No, wait, I'm gonna save that. She doesn't know I can do that. Never mind, it's
so
fine.
You can reflect bullets.
But the bullets are stepping through the jungle around us, right?
Yeah, they're starting to cut down the trees and the destroying the cover around you.
Yes.
Wait, how rapid fire is this thing?
It can fire a shot about every second. So every second, bam, bam, bam.
Okay, so
Okay.
semi-automatic.
Okay. I'm gonna slip the cooking pot, and I'm gonna use it like a really shitty makeshift shield because I couldn't think of what else you find in a jungle. It's getting shredded as a good makeshift shield. And I'm just gonna lead the way.
It's a fucking dragon!
More like an ancient wyvern.